All right, thanks for making the Locked On Ole Miss podcast your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcast, including YouTube. So do us a favor. Subscribe to the YouTube page, hit the bell for notifications, and of course participate in the conversation by commenting down below and upvoting the video itself. We're here just like we are every week with Tom Vanderford. The last few weeks have been kind of interesting. I've been a little bit exhausted, and I'm probably going to sleep about 16 hours tomorrow, Tom.
I don't blame you. After all the Kiffin stuff and the Auburn folks and everything else, you probably need a break.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's like I'm a battery that will not recharge. As much as I sleep and I try and get everything going, I'm just trying to get back to zero. This may be a side effect from my surgery way back when, but I'm sure I'll get there. But normally by now I'm already there,
Right. Well, you did. I wouldn't even call it double duty. I'd say you did quadruple duty during the whole. Well, pretty much since the Arkansas game, you've been going at it pretty hard, and you've had tons of interactions. I know there was one space that we were on where there was like 100 people in there. Of course, 60 of them were Auburn fans, I think. But it just it was a rough week on all of us. You know that by the DMs I sent you.
Yeah,
it was hard, man. It was hard. I just, back and forth, but I'm glad he's staying. I've read today where Quinshon Judkins signed his NIL deal for 2023-2024. So those were two of the main things I was concerned with. I see some good names in the portal. I can't remember the kid's name now, but we were passing it around today on Twitter. But there's a offensive lineman at Alabama that played a lot and played multiple positions there, and supposedly he's a true center. I'd love to see us get a true center in the portal. I love Caleb Warren. He's a good guard. Eli Acker, good guard. They really are. They leave something to be desired snapping the ball. And they know that too. They do the best they can. They did the best they could. But, we talked about that all year. It's messes with the timing. I thought Jackson Dart did an admirable job later on in the year handling that anyway. So we're pretty lucky to have two quarterbacks in a row like Matt Corral and Jackson Dart. And to be honest with you, I think Jackson Dart is further ahead his sophomore year than maybe Matty was.
Yeah, it's potential. Yeah.
And just looking, I'm a recruiting junkie, so I keep looking at the portal. I keep hoping that, every time I see something from Suntarine Perkins, I'm like, oh, please stay. Because, Bama's coming after Suntarine hard. And Aiden Williams and some other folks that I really want to keep. I want to keep Marcel Reed. I think he's the quarterback still of this class. I really do.
I don't think he's going anywhere. I don't think anybody needs to worry about Marcel Reed. Yeah.
No, he's not. He was coming. He even made the statement before Kiffin, signed on the dotted line with us that he was leaning towards going to Ole Miss anyway, no matter who the coach was. So he's if you watch him, you watch his film, he's very good. Like you said, he reminds you of Charlie Ward. Charlie Ward was not a slouch.
No,
he was a tremendous athlete. So
it's kind of weird that he showed up on the Heisman House commercials this year.
Yeah,
Charlie Ward had a starring role. Yeah,
he never played pro football. He was a pro basketball player.
Yeah, but he's got his own commercials, and they're starting to go in, and it's like, hey, let's give Steve credit for bringing this up. This is who we're talking about.
Exactly. So we, I think we've got a bright future, man. I really do. I would not be surprised if the Kiffin name gets us in gets us in Tampa again. Of course, I've seen, like you said, all over the
Yeah.
spectrum. I've seen Vegas. I've seen Carolina. I've seen Nashville. I've seen
Memphis.
Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Yeah, all over. So, and who knows? But I think with us signing Lane, I think that we'll have a better bowl than we would have if he would have left and we had an interim coach. I do believe that. I don't think State beat us. I don't think we should leapfrog them, but we might.
Yeah.
Because we're just the hotter ticket.
I'm sitting here trying to think, what is the best bowl matchup? Not necessarily the bowl game or whatever, but just the matchup that each game would bring. What would be the most interesting to the fan? And I keep going back to the Gator Bowl against Notre Dame. If that would
love to be in the Gator against Notre Dame.
Yeah, if that came to fruition, I think people would talk about that. Music City Bowl against Minnesota or Illinois, Relia Quest against Minnesota or Illinois or Iowa. Those three is probably the best matchups available, but I would be interested in that game against Notre Dame.
I would like that. Notre Dame's got a good defense, and we've got a good offense, so I think it would be a good pick. We've got a good defense when they're healthy, and we've got the depth we need. But I would love to play Notre Dame. Anytime, my brother is a huge Notre Dame fan, so that would make me pretty happy anyway. Of course, before every year they're going to win the national championship with him. But that would be fun to watch that game. That's not too far away for you to drive.
Yeah.
Jacksonville's not
about 2 hours
away.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and so that would be interesting. I really think that we would, if we, I've seen Iowa, Minnesota, and Illinois in various bowls. I think we would do well against them. I think we would do well against Oregon State in Las Vegas, But I just, for recruiting purposes, I'd really like for us to be in the Sunshine State. There's just something about those Florida bowls that, mean something.
Yeah. And probably worst case
Vegas
scenario
is
Memphis.
Sir?
Worst case scenario is Memphis.
Oh, yeah. Goodness gosh, I hope we don't fall that far.
Yeah.
But I don't think we will. I mean, you've got Kentucky at 6-6. You've got
Missouri.
Missouri at 6-6. I think
Florida,
one of those will be in Memphis. Yeah, Florida. So I think one of those will be in Memphis. I think Florida's going to go to Birmingham. That's just my opinion.
But you know who won't be going to a bowl game? Auburn. Auburn will not be going to a bowl game. And you remember when going to the bowl game, the Birmingham Bowl was a step up for them because that's what it is this year. But until they're not going to a bowl game. Yeah.
Exactly. And, one thing that's come out of the last couple of weeks, especially with who Auburn hired, I think we've got ourselves a new rivalry. Ole Miss and Auburn, especially after Lane's tweet to Hugh. I mean, good Lord, you want to talk about poking the bear? That was something else. But that's just Lane, man.
Yeah.
But I really think, Stephen, that we're going to hit the portal hard. I think we're going to get about 7 or 8 kids, because you've got to remember one very important thing, and you've brought it up before, but I'm just bringing it back up. The 85 limit is still in effect, but the 25 limit this year is not. You can sign more than 25 kids if you've got the spaces. So when folks see all these Ole Miss kids hitting the portal, that's by design.
Mm-hmm.
There's no doubt in my mind that they have made the decision looking at the depth chart that, hey, I want to play college football. I need to find some place I can play because it's not going to be here.
Yeah. Well,
I think it was that way with Brandon Mack and a few other ones. Now take Luke Altmaier. Luke Altmaier is a very good quarterback, but he wants to start. And, after the year Dart had, he's not going to be the starter next year. So I look for now. This is something I want to brag on a little bit. I may be wrong, but I would not be surprised if Luke Altmaier ends up at Arkansas.
That wouldn't surprise me. That wouldn't surprise me at all. It also wouldn't surprise me if he went back to Florida State, because I think Jordan Travis is going to graduate.
Yep, that wouldn't surprise me either if he went to Florida State. And I would wish him well. I had nothing against the kid. He's a good kid. I think that with him doing that, we may go into the portal and get another quarterback, one that's willing to be a backup. Or do you think we'll hang with Denton Reed?
Oh, I think Dent is done. He went through senior night.
Okay.
But I think Reed will be the backup, and I think there'll be a third string. Because if you get to your third string quarterback, the season's over anyway. The quarterback goes out, it's shot. Right. So just ride with Marcel Reed, do the best you can. It's going to be a heavily running-oriented offense anyway.
Exactly.
So that's what I would do, because I think Marcel Reed has a chance to be special, and I think he has a chance to be the guy that gets Ole Miss to Atlanta and does that type of special stuff. He's an unbelievably special player.
I completely agree. I really hope that either Trigg straightens up and gets everything taken care of and comes back with a good positive attitude next year, or we go into the portal and get a good tight end. We really need a good tight end. We need a slot. We need all the defensive linemen and linebackers that you can give me. No, we need some defensive linemen, and we definitely need a linebacker or two. Even if we're going to run, which I think we're still going to run the 3-2-6, but we need a certain type of linebacker. We need those, the big guy, the big fast, the Alabama linebackers is what we need.
Yeah, we just need 5 stars. If we can just have 5 stars, we'll be fine.
Yeah, if we could just have that. Well, there's a sale on 5 stars at Texas A&M.
Yeah, seriously. And I think they're going to hit them up
the portal like crazy.
Absolutely nuts. Anyway, before we get out of here, what's your way too early prediction for next season? Knowing that we go to Alabama, to Georgia, we got a booger bear of a schedule.
Yeah. I think our floor next year is 7 wins. I think our ceiling next year is 10 wins. I really do.
All right. Tom says
ceiling 10. More, but
Tom says ceiling 10 wins, floor 7 wins. Yep. Anyway, thanks for making the Locked On Ole Miss podcast your first listen today. For your second listen today, check out Locked On Sports Today. From the games that matter the most to the biggest stories in sports, go beyond the scoreboard and behind the scenes with local experts and insights only Locked On can provide. Locked On Sports Today, available on this app, YouTube, and wherever you get your podcast. Tom, thank you so much. We're going to have a much more regular week next week, but I appreciate you bearing with me this week, bud.
No problem, man. Hotty toddy.
Hotty toddy.